Hi, this is Kevin Thomas, and welcome to the At Home Film Festival. We're in October already. My God, this year. But anyway, for the rest of the month, I'm going to look at horror and Halloween films. For those who get scared easy, they're not all bloody and gory, so don't tune away. But for this week, we are not looking at these movies that I'm showing in the background that have been banned in many countries. I'm going to look at classic horror films from the 1930s all the way up till 1969. I have found 7 for you, so let's take a look now. I typically do movies that are more obscure or harder to find, but I thought this week I would look at some classics that maybe haven't been seen for years, including Dracula, the 1931 version, which you could find on Prime right now. Now, this is not the original Dracula. There was movies called Nosferatu that came out before this, and this is one of the best though. But what I am doing on this list this week is showing you the classics that have had many, many, many remakes or retelling where people have taken the idea and run with it through the decades. So let's start with the roots of all of these movies, and Dracula is definitely one of them. That looks a little like Camille, doesn't it? Oh no. Also from 1931 was Frankenstein, which you could find on Peacock. I can't believe 1931 had 2 of the longest running, most viewed classics in the horror genre. And this movie led to actually a sequel with the same filmmakers called The Bride of Frankenstein, which I almost did. That one we've all seen pictures of Elsa Lanchester with her white streak in her hair. And in doing my research, I realized that Mary Shelley, who wrote Frankenstein, actually maybe she lived this story because the character in Bride of Frankenstein is Mary Shelley, right? But we have seen so many versions of this. This is a famous scene with that little child. We've also seen comedy versions like Young Frankenstein. So this is definitely one of our horror film roots. It's worth a second look if it's been years since you've seen it, or if you have never seen it, why not? Go to Peacock and check it out. Ghosts are also a common theme in a lot of these horror Halloween movies. And a classic one to me is The Uninvited with Ray Milland. He and his sister end up living in a house that, guess what? It's got ghosts. Oh, this is actually very well crafted. It's more suspenseful than horrific. It's on TCM, by the way, this month, so you should check it out. And it does show what a great actor Ray Milland was. I think the same year or the year after he won the Oscar for The Lost Weekend. He's very talented and often forgotten because later in his career, when he's harder to find jobs because he was older, he did a lot of schlocky horror-ish movies. So that was a genre, I guess, that embraced him. So let's embrace this classic of his, shall we? Invasion of the Body Snatchers is one of my all-time favorite movies from this genre. This one is free if you have MGM Plus, or it costs a few dollars to rent. I think I bought it on Prime for like $4.99. But this has had so many remakes, and most of them have been good. The 1978 version was good. There was one, I think, with Nicole Kidman. Oh, but you know, this is the story we all know where people seem to be living nice lives, and while they sleep, the pod people come in and kind of take over, resemble them, act like them, but it's not them because they're from outer space. The way you could tell the difference is these pod people don't have emotions. I don't know, I'm telling you this. You should know this story. And if you don't know this story, here's your chance to watch the original terrific classic version of it. So find it and watch it for sure. Okay, The Blob, which you could find on Max, is another great classic. The difference between this and all the other ones is this does not have the stellar ratings that the critics liked as well. This is more of a schlocky movie, but that's okay, because schlock goes well with popcorn and horror. So this movie, in case you don't know, which has Steve McQueen in it, has this, another thing from outer space. It's this blob. It starts small, but as it rolls over people, it gets bigger and bigger and scarier. Oh my, it's not really scary. Those who don't like scare won't be bothered by this. I don't know what it is, but the scene I remember the most is where they're at the movie theater and the blob starts coming out of the booth where they're, the projection booth. It's like, oh, Oh my God, this is so schmaltzy and schlocky and just plain old fun. And like many of these movies, it did have a remake, so that's no surprise. You can include many Alfred Hitchcock movies on the list, but I went to Psycho, which you could find on Peacock. Oh, this movie not only was a giant hit and got Alfred Hitchcock an Oscar nomination, as well as Janet Leigh, by the way, and it has that famous shower scene, which we saw at the beginning. But it's a really good story where the plot develops, so it's more than just scares and spooks. It's got depth. And what really fascinates me about this movie is the marketing campaign made it like, don't be late for the movie. Be warned. No money back if you get scared. That started so many other movies doing this. Mostly the other movies were done by William Castle, who always had a schlocky, gimmicky thing. But Alfred Hitchcock, this movie really did terrify people, especially that shower scene. And it's a classic not to forget. So don't forget it. Watch it. Oh, then we have Night of the Living Dead, available on Prime and Max. Now, this has been remade so many times in so many different ways. This one's the classic, the original 1968 black and white version. I always love reading the little stories behind it. For those who want to be a little gory and afraid, the blood is chocolate syrup, okay? So when they're really chewing down on people, they're not eating people. They're eating something delicious like chocolate syrup. This also has some throwaway funny lines that make it almost campy and classic. Actually, I want to remember one of my favorite lines because I love to reenact "They're coming to get you, Barbara." Let's watch that together, shall we?
Stop it! You're ignorant.
They're coming for you, Barbara.
Stop it! You're acting like a child.
They're coming for you. Look, there comes one of them now.
He'll hear you.
Here he comes now. I'm getting out of here.
Johnny!
Oh no! Don't you think Barbara could have helped? I bet you if they remade this scene for scene today, I guess it wouldn't be scene for scene if they changed it, but Barbara should help. Like, she just stood there. Poor Johnny. But they're coming to get you, Barbara. Well, that's our show of the week. Hope you enjoyed it. I will be back next week with more Halloween movies. I hope you comment below and share and subscribe. As we leave, I'm taking a look at this very funny preview to the latest Saw movie. For those of us who go to the movies a lot, we all have seen the AMC trailer or ad with Nicole Kidman promoting the theater. So Saw parodied that, and it is so funny. So look for this on YouTube if you haven't seen it at the movies. I'm not saying see the latest Saw, but I'm saying this preview is very innovative and funny. I hope to see you next week. Oh, wow.